What's been happening in Ecuador lately? Why has this peaceful South American country suddenly hit the global headlines? Well, let's unfold the story together. Our tale begins on January 9th, 2024, when an armed conflict sparks off in Ecuador. The government finds itself in a standoff with organized crime groups, particularly a notorious gang named Los Choneros. The conflict ignites when José Adolfo Macías Villamar, the leader of Los Choneros, makes a daring escape. In response, President Daniel Noboa declares a state of emergency and an internal state of war. The country has been grappling with a surge in violence since 2018, fueled by its unfortunate role as a cocaine transit point. The competition among organized crime groups has only added fuel to the fire. However, this day marked a turning point that would push Ecuador into the global spotlight. Following Macías Villamar's escape, the country plunges into chaos. Riots break out in multiple prisons, and a series of attacks take place, including explosions and kidnappings. Hospitals, businesses, and civilians find themselves targeted in violent acts throughout the country. The violence is so rampant that the Ministry of Education suspends in-person classes, and transportation in Quito is halted, except for the Quito Metro. In a shocking display of audacity, Los Choneros gunmen storm a TV studio in Guayaquil, taking journalists hostage. Luckily, the hostages are later released and the gang members arrested, but the message is clear, and the terror is real. In response to this escalating violence, President Noboa declares a state of armed internal conflict and authorizes military operations against the armed groups. The government's strategy is to neutralize these groups within the bounds of international humanitarian law. As the situation worsens, neighboring Peru declares an emergency along its border with Ecuador, and other countries express support for the Ecuadorian government. Even the United States offers assistance to the troubled administration. So, what are the key points to remember from this alarming tale of violence and conflict? Firstly, the armed conflict in Ecuador was triggered by the escape of a notorious gang leader and the subsequent declaration of a state of emergency by President Noboa. Secondly, this conflict is an escalation of violence that has been brewing since 2018, fueled by Ecuador's role as a cocaine transit point. Finally, the response from both the Ecuadorian government and the international community has been swift, with military operations, border controls, and offers of assistance. As we wrap up this narrative, the future of Ecuador hangs in the balance. The government has made a firm commitment to confront crime and restore peace. However, only time will tell whether these efforts will be successful in bringing an end to the violence and restoring normalcy to the lives of the Ecuadorian people.